Have you ever wondered who died first, Adam or Eve? At first glance, it may seem like a simple curiosity, but this question takes us on a deep dive into themes like sin, redemption, and God's divine plan for humanity. The answer goes far beyond what you might imagine, and it could change the way you see the entire biblical narrative. In the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve were created to live forever. There was no death, no pain, no suffering. They had free access to the tree of life, which sustained their immortality. But everything changed when sin entered the world. Disobedience brought a sentence: "From dust you came, and to dust you shall return." From that moment on, Adam and Eve's days were numbered. The Bible clearly tells us that Eve was the first to sin. She listened to the serpent, took the forbidden fruit, and gave it to Adam as well. This raises an intriguing question. Since she was the first to sin, was she also the first to die? Curiously, the Bible does not mention when or how Eve died. There is no verse that records her death, her age, or any details about her final moments. This silence is striking. On the other hand, the Bible does give us an answer about Adam. In Genesis 5:5 it is written, "So all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died." In other words, we know that Adam lived for 930 years. But the big question is, was Eve still alive when Adam died? Or had she passed away before him? There are a few possible explanations for the Bible's silence regarding Eve's death. One is that, in the culture of that time, genealogies and historical records focused primarily on male lineage. Her death may not have been recorded simply because the focus was on Adam and his descendants. Another possibility is that the Bible wanted to emphasize that, as the head of humanity, Adam's death marked the closing of that first era. But ultimately, this question leads us to a much deeper reflection. The death of Adam and Eve is not just a historical detail. It is a reminder of the impact of sin and the necessity of redemption. Sin brought death into the world, but God already had a plan to overcome it. And that plan was fulfilled through Jesus Christ, the second Adam, who came to restore the eternal life that was lost in Eden. Now let's analyze an interesting point. How was death understood in Adam and Eve's time? The concept of mortality was completely new to them. Before sin, death did not exist. When God warned them that they would die if they ate from the forbidden fruit, what did that mean to them? Most likely, they had no real understanding of what death was. This makes us reflect on the emotional and spiritual impact of that sentence. Another crucial point is the effect of sin on the human body. When God created Adam and Eve, they were perfect. But after the fall, corruption entered creation. Science shows us that human longevity has significantly decreased over time. Adam lived 930 years, but later generations lived progressively shorter lives. This suggests that sin not only separated humanity from God, but also impacted human health and longevity. There's also an important theological question. Who was ultimately held responsible for sin? Even though Eve ate the fruit first, the Bible states that sin entered the world through Adam, Romans 5:12. This shows that Adam, as the representative of humanity, bore the ultimate responsibility. But how does this connect to his death? Was his death the symbolic end of that first human era? Another fascinating detail is the impact of Adam and Eve's deaths on their descendants. How did Cain and Abel cope with the loss of their parents? How did Seth and his lineage understand the reality of death? The concept of mortality became an undeniable part of human history from that moment forward. Grief, longing, and the search for meaning in the face of death all began with Adam and Eve. Finally, this discussion leads us to the great climax of the story, the hope of resurrection. If death entered the world through Adam, then eternal life was offered through Christ. He is called the second Adam because he came to correct what the first Adam had lost. Trying to determine who died first, Adam or Eve, is an interesting debate. But the most important question is, who conquered death? And that answer is clear: Jesus Christ. Now, what do you think? Did Eve die first? Or was Adam the first to depart? Share your opinion in the comments. If this video gave you a new perspective, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more impactful biblical insights. See you in the next video.